Hey guys, this is Anything TV here, and today I will be giving my review on the first volume of Hell's Paradise. Now this manga is a battle royale type manga. Now basically, at least in this case, these criminals get pitted on an island to fight against each other, which is like the boiled down basic version of this story. You know, it's way more complex than that. It's a manga, bro. But the main characters include Gabimaru the Hollow and Yamada Asemon Sagiri. Now, the story of the first volume goes like this. Now, Gabimaru the Hollow is set to be executed, right? But no executions work on him. They tried setting him on fire. They even tried beheading him. And the sword broke and the fire didn't even burn him. Well, it did slightly burn him, but, you know, it didn't hurt him, right? So he says that he wants to die, you know, throughout the first part of the story he says, I want to die, why want to die, you know? But don't get it twisted, this man's not an immortal man. Now he comes from a land of strong people. This land is called Jigokuraku. I'm probably not saying that right, but that's where he's from, and he's also a ninja. At least he was a ninja that was government sanctioned, right? But anyways, he has an interviewer that he's talking to. Her name is Asemon Sagiri, right? But he does not know her name yet. But anyways, while he's talking to this interviewer, he talks about how he was married. Now he was married, and after he got married, he tried to cut ties to the village, right? So basically he said, alright, well, I'm gonna dip, I'm out. Thanks for the food, you know, I'm gonna leave. And the village saw that as being traitorous, so they arrested him, and now he's set to be executed. Right? But now following this explanation he told the interviewer, there's another execution to take place. Now at this execution, they try to get 2 cows to pull his legs apart. And like the way they describe it in the story is so brutal, bro. I was like, Jesus, oh man. I know that probably happened in real life, but oh man, I can't imagine how that might have felt. But Gabimaru, being Gabimaru, did not die from it. He did. In fact, the cows died first. So the interviewer finally reveals herself to be the person she is, which is Yamada Asemon Sagiri. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, whatever. She says her name. Well, the interesting thing about this girl is that she's from a clan of ruthless executioners, right? In her clan, everyone cuts heads cleanly, you know? Cuts heads so smoothly that it's painless for the person who's getting executed. Like, that's how good her family is at this stuff. You know, her clan is at this stuff, you know? So, when she reveals her name and tells her, listen, this is who I am, and I'm basically here to kill you, he's like, oh shoot, I'm actually gonna die right now. You know, on every other attempt, like, he slightly resisted, but he wasn't really anything major. But now he knows, like, if I let this girl even get a sword near my neck, I'm dead. So he's like, screw that. Homie snaps his what do you call it, shackles, and just starts fighting, you know? And so, you know, his whole thing was that, oh, I want to die, blah, blah, blah. And if you wanted to die, you wouldn't be resisting this hard by someone who can finally kill you, right? And throughout this fight, he's having this fight with Sagiri, and she basically exposes him for his true self. She says, the only reason why you want to be alive is because of your wife. You love your wife. And that's why you want to stay alive. She gives you purpose to live, right? And I'll be honest, that was a great part. And so basically, this is where they tell the true backstory of why he was arrested and why everything happened, right? So basically, the reason why he was arrested wasn't because he was just like a traitorous person who was leaving the village. It was actually because he was choosing to hang up the rope on his ninja career, right? Of like fighting people and stuff like that. He was hanging up the rope on that stuff because his wife didn't like it. His wife told him, listen, I think we should make a living in other means. I don't think you should make a living off of killing people. I don't like killing people. I don't like that. We should live a peaceful life somewhere else, away from the killing. So, he wasn't chilling. He wasn't trying to escape, out the back door without telling anyone. He went to his chief and said, listen, my wife said that she doesn't like this profession and that she wants to live a peaceful life. So he told his chief about that. He said, I'm going to do that. And what I'm guessing, I'm pretty sure the chief told him, okay, right? But on the ride leaving the town, they set him up. They told him, okay, but really they were setting him up to just arrest him again. It's ridiculous. He's leaving with his wife out of town, and people are jumping him. They're jumping him. And homie's so strong, he goes through probably 100 different soldiers before they can actually capture this man. And regardless, they could have killed him, but they could capture him finally. That's crazy. This man is strong. This is the first volume, so I still have to see someone who's stronger than him, or someone that can be seen as an actual opponent. But right now, this man's looking like he's OP. And I'm fine with OP characters as long as they're done right. But yeah. Anyway, while Sagiri and Gabimaru are fighting, so it just turns out that Sagiri just wanted to confirm that Gabimaru wanted to live. Right? That he has a will to live, that he doesn't want to die. That's what she wanted to confirm, because Sagiri has an offer. She has an opportunity for Gabimaru. Right? So, let me explain to you the offer. Now, there's said to be a heavenly land that contains an elixir of life that basically gives you immortality. Right? This elixir is sought by the Shogun, and he has sent teams to look for this elixir before. What returned wasn't humans, though. It was just flowers. Now, this is weird, right? Why are flowers returning on these boats back from this land? This mystical land. Well, they're searching the boat, and they start to find pieces of limbs, like foots, and they realize that the plants are blooming on the people. The people are blooming into plants. There's this really horrifying panel of a piece of a foot blooming into a flower, and this makes your stomach turn. So basically what the island does is turns these people into plants. That's what happens. So instead of the Shogun being scared, oh, we can't do this again, the Shogun said, wow, that's really crazy and mystical. That must mean that the elixir of life is on that island. So, for the second batch, I'm not going to send anyone I care about, any officials. I'm going to send criminals, specifically death row ones. So, how is he going to get death row criminals to do this, If you can imagine, if you were a death row criminal and someone told you, hey, find this elixir for me, you can come back as a flower. Come on now. You think you're actually going to do that? So, what the Shogun is offering is a complete pardon of all your crimes. And I think it's for now and in the future, so you can commit crimes in the future and it still won't matter. So, a complete pardon of all your crimes if you come back from this island with the elixir of life. Right? So Sagiri is like, listen, I have this offer. Will you accept this? And of course, Gabimaru was thinking of his wife. He's like, oh yeah, I'm going to accept that. Alright, so after this story, I think that was the first chapter. So into the second chapter, we get some backstory of Sagiri. Now, apparently in her clan, the men are the executioners, and women are basically just baby makers. Picture it as a 1940s household, the men are the breadwinners, the women are just cleaning and cooking, basically. However you feel about that, that's how the women were seen in her clan. Right? But Sagiri's father was a legendary executioner. and that inspired her. So she starts like working on her sword skills, you know, and she's a good executioner, but she has emotion behind her blade, right? It's a whole thing in her clan to say that, listen, you have to cut painlessly, you have to cut with no emotion, because if you cut with emotion, that not only makes your cut more, let's just say less precise, less, it's just not as good as somebody else's cut, right? It makes it less precise, which makes the prisoner more, you know, aware of your slicing coming, you know, because you want the prisoner not to be aware of that, so that it can be painless for them, and that they don't resist anything, you know, so it makes it way easier for both of you. But if you have some emotion behind that blade, that's not how it's gonna go. So one character says to her, he basically perfectly sums it up. He says, fear is holding her back. And that is true. Fear is still holding her back, right? But after we get this flashback, we finally get a meeting of all the criminals chosen for this task. And in this meeting, it's basically like a lot of the criminals, and there's a stand in the front that has the Shogun on it, and I think like 2 of his officials to announce what's going on, right? Here we learn many things. Number 1, we learn that each criminal is accompanied by a member of the Asimon clan, so that if they act out of line, slice, you're dead, right? But they also show the true horrors of this mystical land by showing a human who came back from the island, and at the time when he came back, he only had bumps on his body, like bites, right? Now, basically, 75% of his body has blossomed into flowers, and you can still tell it's a human, but he can't speak well. Like when he speaks, he just speaks like gibberish, and yeah, it's kind of, it really creeps you out, man. It really creeps you out. And one of the prisoners, when they saw this, they're like, screw this, I'm out. I ain't going to no island that I'm gonna freaking turn brain dead. I might as well die with my homies who will with me all the way, you know, loyalty over anything else. And the guy's like, okay, fine. And out of nowhere, his handler, you know, his Asimon handler, homie just slices his head off clean. So the message sent out was clear. You either go to the island or you're dead. You know, if you're leaving this participation on the island, you're just going back to your execution stand. So why don't we just do it now, basically? You know, either way, you're gonna die. I would try my chances with the island. You know what I mean? Now, after this, it was announced that there was too many criminals to arrive on the boat. Right? The boat only holds a certain amount of people, and we're already holding the Asimon clan. So there needs to be more space. And they're just staring at the crowd. And then the criminals finally get the message. Oh, they want us to kill each other, right? And the criminals are ravaging, you know, killing each other, da-da-da-da-da. And Gabimaru the Hollow somehow approaches the front stage without anyone noticing. He literally startles the Shogun. They're like, how did he get here? What the heck? They startled that man. And he's like, listen, I don't appreciate you forcing us to kill each other. I don't like killing by choice. I don't like doing that. You know, it's basically his wife speaking through him, you know, what she taught him, what he loved to learn, you know. Now he's telling them, I don't like doing this. And basically, the response to this was, we don't care. Actually, to the remaining lot, if you kill this one man, you will have your spot secured, right? And this is one thing I love about Gabimaru. Instead of homie being like begging for his life, he says the word. He's like, listen, we can just talk, like, let's just figure this out. Why are we killing each other? He says it once. And then basically the guy laughed back at him. He's like, listen, bro, if you're not gonna fight back, then just die, right? And let me read this quote to you, bro, because I found it so funny, and like, it's such a character piece, a characterization of this character, you know. I have to read this to you right now. he literally says, can we talk this out to one of the prisoners? And he says, if you aren't going to fight back, then just shut up and die. Right? And he says, if that's how it works, I better kill you. And the panel reaction to this guy is so funny. He says, hmm? He says, I mean, when it's kill or be killed, I kill. And man, bro, that's when I knew this was a different type of manga. You know, because usually you have the character begging, like, no, bro, don't take me, da, da, da. Or you have the stone cold killer who already starts killing people. But no, the guy's different. He wants to be better, but if he has to go down that lane, he will. And I like that. That's a good characterization point for this man. I like that a lot. And I think the main reason why I like that so much, because it's a set, defined, it's a set, definite personality trait. You know what I mean? It's like me. Like, oh, I don't like to do math, or I don't like to do English. But if you're saying that I'm not gonna be able to go to college because I got an F on this English exam, I guess I gotta do it. You know, I'm not gonna sit there and beg you like, no, please don't give me an F because I don't want to do it. Nah, bro. Okay, if I gotta do it, I gotta do it. That's what it comes down to. I have to do what I have to do. And I like that about this character. He knows what he has to do. He acknowledges that, hey, not everything in life works out so simply. So simply. It doesn't work out that way. And I like that a lot. So now you may be thinking, okay, so he said he's gonna kill this man. Does he do anything special? You know, is he actually such a dangerous killer? And bro, this man is a beast, bro. And when I tell you he's a beast, I'm not kidding, bro. He's a beast. Homie does not waste time at all. Gabimaru murders these criminals in such a vicious way. He bites their necks off. He pokes their eyes out. I mean, it's just absolutely vicious. Like, it's almost stomach turning, bro. If it wasn't so savage. You know? It's a good picture for why they call him Hollow. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really get the Gabimaru, the Hollow name until when I saw that, because I was crazy when I saw that. But after they see how vicious he was and how he killed a bunch of people and he's still standing, they end it. They're like, okay, everyone in the lot, you guys are fine. You guys are in the competition. Let's get on the boats. So they're on the boats, they get to the island, and when they arrive upon the island, Gabimaru and Sagiri are arguing about why he has handcuffs on him. You know, because they're forced to wear handcuffs. I don't know why they are forced to wear them. See, Gabimaru, just like me, doesn't see the point in wearing them. You know? But they're arguing about that, and then they get approached by another criminal and his handler, his Asamon handler. And basically, both of the handlers, both of the Yamada Asama clan people, Sagiri and the other person, they both decide, okay, if y'all want to kill each other, we don't really care. We're just here to oversee that you guys are doing what you're supposed to be doing. But if y'all want to kill each other, we could care less. So the other criminal goes straight for Gabimaru, and Gabimaru was about to fight, and Asamon says to him, she says, you better keep those handcuffs on. She's like, okay, but she keep them on. He's like, what? She's like, yeah, keep them on. And this man, I kid you not, beats this man to a pulp. Like, literally, the last scene you see of this guy is with a bunch of swords in his body. He beats this man using only his feet. He's not even using his hands. He's using his feet to beat this man. And bro, he went crazy on him. Like, if you don't understand how savage this man was at first when he couldn't die by the execution, or when he was fighting those other criminals on the lot and he's poking the eyes out, biting the necks off, then you should understand how savage he is now. With his hands bondage, he still kills the other criminal, And remember, this criminal made it out that lot too. That criminal could have died in that lot, but I'm pretty sure he's fighting other people. He's one of these strong criminals. Remember that. Don't forget that. And he handled him like it was nothing. Now, after this fight, the other handler gives Sagiri a warning about how dangerous these criminals really are, and how just binding them with like little handcuffs is not going to do anything. They could easily break that, so it doesn't even matter, you know. And then he cuts off his prisoner's head to return to the ship. So I guess if your prisoner dies in any way, you can just cut off the head and you return to the ship, and it's fine. Okay, but after this, we get a scene of the criminals making alliances. But you know, they don't intend to keep their promise. Criminals killing each other, or there was actually one criminal, I think it was the giant, where he just smashed his handler's face into the tree. It was a crazy scene. Then we're told that the criminals that originally arrived on the island, right? Apparently they're down by forces of like 50% already. That's what the other handler suspects, you know. But anyways, once the handler leaves after warning Sagiri of the dangers, homie Gabimaru, I didn't even expect this, he just tries to silently kill her. You know, he tries to kill her quickly and silently so that she doesn't even notice that she's dying. And come on, this girl's trained, you know. I'm glad that they're treating this female like an actual warrior. Because you see in a lot of different stories and books, when it's a girl, they get handicapped. You know, I feel like even if it's a girl or not, you shouldn't handicap them at all. It should be like, okay, you're a girl, who cares? They have just as much ability as I do, you know. Because I feel like if this was another story, when he would try to silently kill her, she would actually die. But this girl doesn't. She knows what she's doing, and she like deflects the shot, you know. And Gabriel was like, oh, I was hoping to do it quickly and silently. You know, he was underestimating her, right? But basically, they're fighting, and the fight ends in like a resolution for both of them because they realize that Gabimaru isn't hollow. See, what happened was that even as a young child, his parents, after giving birth to him, was trying to flee the village. And I believe it was his chief or shogun. They killed his parents, and they chose to raise Gabimaru as a ninja. So that's what happened when he was such a little kid, you know? And he couldn't raise as a ninja. You have to imagine the amount of emotional stuff he went through as a child. And now he's just suppressing all that stuff. He's looking the other way, you know? And that's not what a man does, right? And his wife helped him see that. His wife helped him see that what a man does is to face his emotions, face anything that's coming at him. He doesn't hide, right? And that's what his wife helped him out with. So he has Sagiri on the floor. He's sitting on top of her, knife to her throat. Sagiri doesn't even have any weapon in her hand. This is how the fight ends, right? And he's like, bro, I can't kill this lady. I don't want to kill you, and I can't kill you, you know, because like he knows that he can't do it. It's not letting him do it. Because before, when he was a ninja, before he met his wife, he was hollow. He completely suppressed all of his emotions. But when he met up with his wife and he actually got married, she exposed those emotions again. And even if he left his wife or anything like that, it would take a long time before he could become hollow again. But still, he has emotions now, you know? So basically, he chooses not to kill her. And Sagiri is like, okay, I'll let you off the hook because I believe you changed. You know, the relationship between us hasn't changed, you know? You're still my prisoner. I'm still your handler. But I believe you changed as a person, that you're not as heartless or as cold as you once were. You know, and I feel like this was a great point because it added a level of respect between the two, or camaraderie, however you say it. It added a level of that between these two, because before they didn't really like each other. You know, they're like more of a, hey, I'm here because I have to be here, yada yada yada. But now I feel like from now on it's gonna be more of a friendly type of relationship. Of course, they're not gonna be friends. Maybe by the end of the series they'll be friends, But right now, it feels like they're starting to bond a little bit with each other. Because they both have kind of similar upbringings with having to face their own problems and, you know, situations, you know. And now after this scene, another criminal is focused on, right? And this criminal actually gets bitten by a butterfly. And homie looks up, right? And he sees that this butterfly has the face of a human, right? And he already knows, wait, what the frick? This butterfly just bit my hand, and it looks like that. The first thing he does, no hesitation, cuts off his arm. And then we get a scene on the ground. The hand that he just cut off already started blossoming into a flower. So now we know how these humans blossomed into a flower. They blossom like that because of the bugs and animals on this island that bit them. Apparently they have faces of humans, you know? And then after this scene, we finally get the final scene of the volume, which is Gabimaru and Sagiri looking off, and they see this big animal rushing them to attack them, right? And that's when they're realizing, like, this island is strange. You know, this is why it's called, you know, Hell's Paradise. You know, it's kind of crazy. You know, so my general feelings of the first volume, I'll give it a 7. Now, this is because I found that the beginning of the story was a little bit hard to understand. I felt like it wasn't like the direction of the story was good, but I feel the reading, and maybe that was the translator's fault, but I feel like the reading of the story was kind of confusing to understand at the beginning of the story, like the first chapter. But everything after it was pretty good and pretty well. I feel like the artwork is pretty good. You know, it's not up there with the greats like Vagabond or Berserk or anything like that, but it's definitely on the level of, like, it's like a little bit better than One Piece. You know, I know what people dog One Piece art, but I'm gonna be honest, the art is pretty good if you keep reading, you know. So it's a little bit better than One Piece. I say it's on the level of, if you ever read The Way of the House Husband, it's kind of like there. Now the fighting scenes for this manga, they're pretty clearly drawing. You know, you can understand the direction and what they need to do with the fighting scenes. So yeah, I give this manga, this first volume, a 7 out of 10. I can definitely see the future volumes getting way better. So I'm gonna stick with this series. And I could definitely see this book becoming really, really good, that it might even get up to like a 9. I could definitely see that. And that's only if it gets more complex and more deep, you know? Like, I feel like if they keep with this current story of just, oh, we're just wandering, killing each other, trying to find this elixir, that's it. I feel like it's gonna stay at 7 because, like, it's cool, you know, the fighting scenes are gonna be cool, but, you know, it's gonna be kind of boring, you know? Unless it was like a manga like Baki, where, like, it's about fighting, you know, but that even has more emotional attachments to it. So I hope this manga doesn't fall into a trap of just fighting each other, that's it. You know, like, oh, who's the new fighter of the week? I hope it doesn't fall into that trap. You know, I hope it gets really good. So yeah, I give it a 7 out of 10. But one second, I wanted to name some of my favorite villains in the series so far. I'm calling them villains, but they're really just other criminals. Well, of course, now, my first person on my list is the Bandit King, Azachobi. And this is probably because his intro was amazing, how they introduced him, and his fighting style was really cool. Now, I like Kunoshi Yuzuhira, maybe, of Kishu. Now, she's sick too. She's a sick ninja female. I always love to see that. And she went crazy on the other criminals as well. And I also like the giant of Bison Roku Rota. And I like this man because he seems like the sleeping, like, legend, you know? He seems like if you actually try to push him, homie will hurt you. And he seems like the only type of competition I would see for Gabimaru. Because the first thing he did when he got out on the island, he used to do that question the handler's head against the tree. First thing that man's did. So you know he's competition. So I definitely want to see that as well. But yeah, this is gonna be another video from Anything TV, first 30-minute video actually. And I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Hell's Paradise. I think it's called Hell's Paradise Jigokuraku, I think. I definitely butchered that though. And yeah, drop a like, drop a subscribe. Hope to see y'all next time. Thanks.